I'm really pleased to introduce Linda Ganim to everyone because I've known her for a very long time, and she has a very specific credential I think is really helpful to a lot of people, especially if you own a business and you've been trying to figure out maybe what it's worth, or maybe you're making a transition, a family transition, want to pass your business on to your child or a partner. She can really give us that input. She is the owner of CFO Solutions. So I'd like to introduce Linda Ganim and say thank you for being on our blog.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
So tell us about what CFO Solutions stands for.
So CFO Solutions, a CFO is a Chief Financial Officer, so that's kind of the acronym there, and I thought that was a good name to really show businesses what I can do for them on a level that a CFO would provide to a business, to be able to understand their finances, their accounting, the value of their company. So we're providing those solutions, those CFO-type solutions to businesses in the Valley.
So Linda, you have a lot of credentials after your name. So what are those credentials that you have?
Well, I am a CPA in the state of Oregon, certified public accountant. I think that's pretty obvious. And then a CVA, a certified valuation analyst. So what that means is the credentials to be able to do valuations for companies. So as Barbara said, whether it's a transition you're doing with your family, a sibling, or moms and dads, or estate and tax planning, you're going to do stock options, or their marital dissolutions, or various reasons why you want to know what the value of your company is, then I can provide that type of valuation. And it's kind of fun because everybody wants to know what their company's worth. So whether it be an official evaluation, in all contacts that I have and with the companies I work with, it's kind of a fun thing to work towards, is how do I improve the value, how do I create value in my company, and what is my value and what is it worth. And so I do that on a technical basis from the IRS, their requirements, or other types of requirements that you might need. Just different shareholders that are getting together want to know what their company is worth. They're going to issue more shares. How do I determine what the value is so I can know what kind of shares to offer?
Wow.
I'm going to do some gifting to my children. I need to understand the value of my company, because for IRS purposes they need to have certain filings that be able to say this is what your company is worth, so that you can then have the certain within the gifting regulations with the IRS. There's marital dissolutions unfortunately happen, and you need to understand how to appropriate your assets, so you need to understand what your business is worth. I like to do mergers and acquisitions are probably the most fun, because people are in a mode of acquiring their businesses, selling their business, and helping them through that process, understanding what their options are, understanding what it might look like, what the value is, how to put together a deal, so I can walk them through that as well as provide that valuation that they need.
That sounds fantastic.
On the startup side, I help companies with their forecasting, really understanding what their business model is, help them understand what their revenue cycle could be and their cost of goods sold. How do you put those together to make sure that this is a business model that's viable, for one, and then also what do you need? What kind of cash flow do you need? You need working capital, how much of my inventory am I going to have on hand, what kind of accounts receivable and payables, and kind of putting that all together in a forecast model to say, all right, now we need $500,000, or we need $50,000, or we need $1 million, or whatever we need, and then work with them with banks. There's lots of great banks in our valley, that from community banks to national banks, that can help and have all different kinds of flavor for risk and appetite for different industries.
So how would you charge someone if someone is thinking about a startup, they have a great idea, they think it's the best thing ever? Mm-hmm. How would they hire you? If someone called you and said, "Okay, I need your help. I've heard about you. I saw the blog, whatever." Mm-hmm. How would you charge them? How would that work?
I try to do as much as possible to say, okay, this is kind of a estimate lump sum of what I would typically do. So a forecast model, or a startup, normally startups need what I call a forecast model, because they need to present it to investors. So good. I try to have kind of a set fee for them, and then it's hourly, just like you would your CPA or your lawyer. Then I have, hourly fees as well.
Okay. Well, I know that you work with divorced couples trying to figure out what a business might be worth and how that will be, separated out. Yep. So tell us about that.
Yeah, most small businesses are family. If it's a man and a wife and they're going through a divorce, usually both are active in the business, but not always. So when that happens, unfortunately, with their business as well as their other assets, they need to really figure out who gets what. And when you're going through that process and dealing with your lawyer, then typically then the lawyer would engage me or heard about me and in the relationships that I have with them to be able to say, okay, we need to know what this business is worth so that we can determine. The lawyer is really the active one in allocating the assets, and then they look to me to be able to say, okay, well, what is the business worth? What are the assets
Good.
worth so that we can help this couple in their dissolution.
In an objective fashion.
Right, exactly.
Right. So let's talk about how you interact with businesses in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you've been active in Angel Network and
Mm-hmm.
you've helped startups.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think it's an exciting community, the whole startup business, and I'm just passionate about economic development and growth in our area. So I help them in lots of ways. A lot of it is kind of donating my time to startups because they don't really have a lot of cash to be able to do anything with. So I'm involved in some of the organization and board of mentors in the Valley on the Sustainable Valley group and the So Ready group is kind of two of the main ones, but there's several others. So the startups need guidance. They need mentoring and guidance from all aspects. And I'm on the kind of the accounting finance wing, but there's people around that can help them in all other areas. And we're always looking for people to help. So if you have, there's so many amazing people in Ashland and the Rogue Valley that have had some amazing experiences in life. And if you're out there, somewhere, maybe, you could contact one of these agencies and say, how do I get involved? How do I be a mentor? So Ready is a good place to start. They're the economic development company in town, and I'm not working for them or anything, but I think they're just a fabulous resource so for people and startups to go. And then there's also the Small Business Development Center at SOU is a good place to go to.
Right.
They can help you out as well as, get your business plan going, get your financials together. They can help all sorts of businesses to be able to put that together.
Well, fantastic. Just on a personal note, could you just let us know how you ended up in Ashland?
Yeah, Ashland, we had moved to the Rogue Valley for a career opportunity, and we're looking at places in Medford and around, hadn't spent a lot of time here, and drove into Ashland and just said, this is definitely where we need to live. And so we called it home almost 15 years now. My kids were just starting kindergarten, and my son was 3, and so my daughter is just graduated last year from Ashland High School. So they went through. My son is a senior this next year, so we've been through the whole Ashland School District for all this time, and it's been amazing and wonderful. And it's such a warm community. I think that's what I've really appreciated about it is it's very loving, and there's just an amazing amount of intellect, if you will.
Yes.
Educated people, but yet in a very, very casual way, and kind of non-showy. Been a great place for the kids to make good connections with friends, and for us, we've made some wonderful connections, usually through the kids, and work too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Linda, let's talk about business succession.
Mm-hmm.
That's an important part of your business. I know
Yeah.
that.
We have a lot of family-held businesses in the Rogue Valley, and family-held businesses need to be able to start planning for the son, the daughter, or they may not even have that. They may then need to be able to figure out a key employee, or maybe they want to sell. There's a lot of people that don't have a family member to have their succession planning, and so it's important to understand what the value of your company is or what you want it to be, and how you tie that into your future plans. And so on the business valuation side, I can provide a business valuation for you if you're going to be gifting or do part of your estate planning, to be able to then also work with you on how do you get the value of your company up over a period of time. If maybe your goal is in the next 3 to 5 years to retire or to sell your business, let's look at who might buy you. What type of buyer is there for your company? Is it somebody that you're employing, a key employee? Is it somebody like a competitor that's going to buy you out? Is it somebody in your industry that could come in, a larger, like we had the Dagoba chocolate, which I love, in Ashland, that Hershey came and purchased them out. It was a great fit for them as a real partnership because you had a larger
Organic
company.
chocolate,
Organic
wanting that
chocolate.
market.
Yeah, having, fit right in with Hershey, and we have a lot of those opportunities here in the Valley. And so understanding what your options are for succession, what are your best ways to be able to sell your company? Do you need investors? What kind of capital do you need, and how do you need to plan for that succession in your business? I get my passion and my energy with businesses and watching them grow, watching them improve, and watching our valley just continue to develop into a thriving area, because the startups is kind of one part of it. If we can continue to get that kind of energy into our valley through the startups, then I think that we can become known as a place to move, a place to live, to bring your business and to have a startup company. And we have the resources. We have great professionals that live here. We have an amazing amount of people that move to Ashland that are semi-retired, and if they want to get involved in the community, there's so many aspects in the business world, if that's what your passion is, to be able to help these businesses. So,
well, that's the jobs. That's how you help the economy. That's how people get ahead. And so instead of there's other ways other people be involved. But I think what you're doing is really classic. It's fantastic. So
great.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.